Hi friends, this is Joanna. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Today I have prepared a fun project for you guys and I hope that you guys will enjoy it. And with that being said, let's get started. So I'm just grabbing some white clay and I'm gonna give it a nice chop. Now usually when I chop my clay, it is kind of nice to have different sizes, you know, a little bit chunkier ones and then smaller ones as well. Now I'm going to be using mica powder on it, so I want to make sure that it's going to have a nice coverage, and the one that I'm using is Mayspring Emerald mica powder, and boy is that a gorgeous color. It really is stunning in real life. You cannot even transfer it onto on the video. It's kind of a greenish bluish. It's just stunning. And what I wanted to do, I wanted to create a pendant that was primarily that color. That's where I started off with, and of course it went in a little bit different direction, but you know, when I'm mixing the colors into the mica powder into my clay, I just want to make sure that it's going to have this great coverage, thorough coverage, so that my pendant will be as emeraldy as possible. Now I'm adding some gold leaf to a part of it. I divided it into actually 3 parts, but don't worry about it. It's actually, I'm doing it in 2 parts. One I'm going to add silver leaf to, the other one I added gold leaf to, so I have just a variation a little bit. And now I am adding some liquid translucent clay, which is way old, as you can see, kind of chunky there, but I just need something that is actually going to hold all my pieces together, because at this point you could not put them together with the mica powder all over them. So you just want to squish them together, make sure that they stick together, and you have 2 little balls of clay. Now I'm going to be using resin molds today. So like I told you, I really wanted the emerald in it really show, so I'm putting it in, I'm squishing it in. I have used the molds in the past, so I know that the clay should pop out with no problem, and I'm shaving the top off because there's so much excess of clay. So that's basically what you're going to do. You're going to put as much clay as you need into the mold, and then you cut off the top, and boy, I decided that I kind of like the cut off parts. And then I go in to take out my pendant. I cannot take it out for anything. The liquid clay just made it so sticky. Forget it, that was not gonna work. So that's when I decided to take it into a completely different direction, and I really like those shaved pieces, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna play with those shaved pieces. I know that I'm not gonna get that much emerald in my pendant, but you know what, this is really pretty nice. So I rolled out some white clay, and here we have all my shaved pieces are going on, and part of it is shaved pieces with the gold, and the bottom part is with the silver. So I'll be able to use it for different pendants. And I rolled it out on a pasta machine so it's nice and smooth. And now I'm like, okay, you know what, I know that if I'm going to cut a piece off and I'll put it in that mold, in the resin mold, it really should come out okay. So what I'm doing is I'm just gonna put it and squish it inside the mold, and then I'm gonna go in and fill in any extra space that I have with scrap clay. So I'm just going in with my little tool, which I love this tool. You guys need to get that tool for shaping and for anything crafts. It's fantastic. That little silicone tip, whatever it is, it's fantastic. So once I had it all filled in, now I'm going in, and all the excess clay, I'm just rolling it inside to fill it in as much as I can, so that I have a full pendant. But if you have scrap clay, you can just put any scrap clay in there and then cover the back with this particular, you know, with your design or what have you. So you'll see that I run out of the excess of clay, and I'm gonna go in and I'll cut off a little piece right now, or tear off, and put it as my back. And now I'm going in and I'm shaving it, and it's just pampering it. So you just have to go pamper it, clean it off. Any excess needs to come off, so it's just a little bit time consuming, but look at that. You pop it out and it's fantastic. Now this square one here, I decided that I was going to put it in the freezer, and what an great idea. I'm not going to do that without freezer anymore. This is the best. Look how nicely it pops out. Amazing. And it's just, you should totally put, if you're using the resin molds and you're using your clay, I would highly recommend just to throw it in the freezer for a few minutes and look what you got. So you know me, I go crazy, so I decided that I'm gonna make all these beautiful pendants with the leftover clay, and the freezing is in particular good for those with the big holes like this one. See, it just came out so nicely. So the square one and the diamond ones were my least liked ones, and I'm like, what am I gonna do with them? I don't want to throw them out. So I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna decide, I decided that I'm gonna make a pendant where I just put one on top of the other, and now I'm just adding some mica powder to the top of my pendant. You know, you can, if you, now do you see the Versamark right there? That's exactly what you need to use in order to get good coverage. So you take your pendant, you throw it in the Versamarker, which makes it a little bit stickier, and then you put the mica powder on it and you get a great coverage. I use Versamark all the time on my parrot crafts when I'm stamping with Versamark and then adding mica to it. You get very, very nice results. And because the pendants were just baked and dry, the mica was not sticking very well to it, so the Versamark was absolutely perfect for it. Now you can just use E6000 to attach the two pieces. I decided to use Bake and Bond, so I'm gonna throw it to put them together, and I'll throw them in the oven for another 15 minutes. But like I said, E6000 on any other good good glue will totally work in this case. Okay, and here are my puppies already with the resin on. Wow, the emerald is popping out like crazy. You can see there's a silver leaf coming in some of them, the gold leaf in the other one. Oh my goodness. And this little guy, I decided to get some more stuff done to it. First of all, as you notice, I just put resin to the top part of it. I think that it just adds to the pendant because it's like almost two different pieces together. Now I grabbed two pieces of wire, which is 20 gauge, and then I got a thinner wire, and I'm just wrapping that thinner wire around the two pieces of the 20 gauge wire. Now at this point I just knew that I wanted to do something, not quite sure what. I just want to add a little bit of metal to it because, like I told you, it was like a problem child. There's always one of them, that one of the pendants in my whole design series that is a problem child. This was my problem child, and I was determined to make it look nice. So so we have that little the thinner wire was wrapped around the two thicker pieces, and I'm just gonna put it on two sides of my pendant. So I just bent the wire, and I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to start twisting it just to add some tension, and the twist is just going to lock the wire in the back, and it's not going to fall off or anything like that. So this is where I'm doing the whole thing, and of course I'm doing it off camera, so I better explain it to you guys how I do it. Anyways, so you can see I'm twisting it, and when I'm happy with how tight the wire is around the pendant, then I'm just going to cut it. And after you cut it, I was very lucky. My end of the wire was not very sharp. But if your wire would be sharp, I would take pliers and I would give it a nice squeeze, just so that it doesn't cut your blouse or sweater, whatever you're wearing it on. So here goes the little snipping, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing on the other side, and my pendant is going to be ready. So there you have it. My problem child came out fantastic. I love it. I think it looks really nice that the resin is only on one part of the pendant. So What do you guys think about it? Completely took it in a different direction. I was looking for fully emerald pendant, but I really love the way this came out with the silver leaf and gold leaf, and you know, the little silver heart that I put in the middle. I think it came out pretty nice. Well, let me know what you guys are thinking about it, and hopefully you enjoy this tutorial. If you did, make sure that you subscribe, and my friends, till next time, ta-ta.